China and Russia are providing Iran with military assistance in the war against the US and Israel. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi made such a public statement today, right after Donald Trump publicly questioned the claim that Russia is supplying weapons to Iran and aiming Iranian missiles at American military bases and their ships at sea. Moreover, Trump stated that if Putin is helping Iran in the war against the US, that's supposedly normal, because the US is also helping Ukraine. But essentially today, Araghchi publicly confirmed the information from American intelligence, which claimed that Russia is providing Iran with intelligence data for attacks on American military bases in the region. Moreover, let me remind you that intelligence claimed that Moscow is providing real-time satellite data for strikes on high-value targets. Meanwhile, China is negotiating with Iran to supply anti-ship missiles, which Iran might try to use to sink the American armada in the region. Trump denies this, but today Iran itself confirmed it. But that's not all. Experts are already predicting a huge and dangerous failure for Donald Trump, which will cost him dearly. I'm Alex Ipeci. Let's discuss this together. But before we start this episode, I ask you to subscribe to this channel, like the episode, leave any comment under this video, and be sure to subscribe to my Telegram channel, Peachy News. The link to it is in the description of this video. So, Russia and China are helping Iran in various ways, including through military cooperation. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi stated this today. He called Russia and China Tehran's strategic partners. Here's the quote. "We had close cooperation which continues to this day, including military cooperation. Iran cooperates well with these countries in political, economic, and even military terms." So, in Tehran, they openly stated that Russia and China are helping Iran in the war against the Americans, but Trump doesn't care about that. The day before, Donald Trump stated that the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, might be giving Iran some minor assistance, or maybe not. But even if he is, in Donald Trump's opinion, it's not a big deal and is quite understandable. Here is a quote from the American president. "Maybe Russia is providing Iran with information, or maybe not. I think so, but Vladimir Putin, probably thinks that we're helping Ukraine, right?" Here I'll stop at an important point. Trump once again doesn't care about American intelligence data. A few days ago, Bloomberg, citing Western intelligence, reported that the Russian authorities are providing Iran with various types of intelligence information, including satellite images and drone targeting tactics, to help Tehran strike US forces in the Middle East. Next is a quote from Bloomberg. "Russian intelligence support for Iran's deadly retaliatory actions against the US, Israel, and allies in the Persian Gulf, as well as concerns that China may also be assisting Tehran, indicate deepening ties among US adversaries as the war expands. It is unclear how effective the data provided by the Russians to Iran is, and how regularly Russia shares useful information. However, this reflects the relationship between the two countries. Moscow relied on Iranian Shaheds during the full-scale invasion of Ukraine and is now sharing its experience with Tehran. Moreover, the UK Defense Minister John Healey stated, quote, "No one will be surprised to learn that behind some of Iran's tactical moves and possibly some of its capabilities, there is the hidden hand of Putin. The patterns of Iranian attacks share similarities with how Russia attacks Ukraine. This was to be expected, considering how closely this alliance of aggression has been strengthened in recent years." After that, the special envoy of the US President, Stephen Witkoff, stated that during a conversation with Donald Trump on Monday, the Russian side also said that no, they are not sharing intelligence with Iran. And therefore, to quote Witkoff, we can take their word for it, and let's hope they are not doing it. Moreover, according to the statement of the President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, Russia is transferring Shahed-type drones to Iran, which Tehran has already used to strike American bases and countries in the Middle East. Quote from Zelensky, "The Russians are using Iranian licenses to create drones. They have modified them. I have 100% proof that the Iranian regime used these drones against American bases and against its neighbors in the Middle East. And secondly, my intelligence has informed me that they believe Russia is sharing intelligence information with the Iranian regime. They are helping them." And now in Tehran they are already saying yes, they are helping. Donald Trump, in response to this, keeps saying that maybe of course they aren't helping, and even if they are, it's not a big deal. Well, so what if they're killing American soldiers? Overall, Iran and Russia have strengthened their ties over the past decades in response to opposition from the US. Iran supplies Russia with domestically developed Shahed drones, which Moscow uses in its war against Ukraine, and has even set up factories to produce them on Russian territory. Both countries also supported the now-defunct regime of Bashar al-Assad in Syria. In addition, in 2021, Iran signed a 25-year economic cooperation agreement with Beijing. But let's get back to Abbas Araghchi. He also stated that the Strait of Hormuz is closed to tankers and ships belonging to, quote, our enemies, those who attack us and their allies. The strait is not closed, it is closed only to American ones, and Israeli ships and tankers, not for others, but that's not the case, and now the situation could get even worse. The Yemeni Houthis, whom Donald Trump, let me remind you, defeated last year, have stated that they will block the Bab el-Mandeb Strait in support of Iran. For context, the Bab el-Mandeb Strait is one of the world's most important maritime arteries. It connects the Red Sea with the Gulf of Aden and further with the Indian Ocean. The route passes through it to the Suez Canal. This is actually the main route between Europe and Asia. 12% of global trade and a significant portion of oil and gas pass through this strait. So, if this key route for ships between Europe, the Middle East, and Asia is blocked, oil and gas prices will rise even more. Because then the countries of the Persian Gulf will basically be blocked from both sides. A simultaneous blockade of the Strait of Hormuz on one side and the Bab el-Mandeb Strait on the other will completely cut off any trade between Asia and the West. But Trump still rejects, by the way, any aid to Ukraine and other partners and claims that he has already won the war against Iran, although the Pentagon admitted today that the war will last at least another 6 weeks. Oh yes. And Trump still doesn't believe that his favorite, Vladimir Putin, is somehow helping Iran to kill American soldiers. I'll leave it at that. Share your opinions and conclusions in the comments under this episode. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and don't forget to like. Also, if you found this episode interesting and useful, you can support the work of this YouTube channel with your donation or your subscription. All the links and details on how to do this are in the description of this video, or you can use the QR code, which is the most convenient option. I will be grateful for any support you can give. That's all for now. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye, everyone.